This is the underrated recommendations for this month. I'm gonna do this every month because I think this is important. Because I see a lot of people that read, for example, 50 Shades of Grey. I respect the fact that they are very well written, very detailed, for those that like that kind of thing. I do not look for eroticism in my books unless it comes with a really good plot. Because I'm not just gonna read a book because it has sex. I might read Death in the Vatican, for example, or um, the Marquez de Sade, for example. But not 50 Shades. I read the first one. It's it's really well written, but it's not my kind of book because it has a really bad plot. Okay, anyways, or they read The Fault in Our Stars or the Harry Potter books. Don't get me wrong. I am in love with the Harry Potter book. Luna is one of my favorite characters. Okay, but it's kind of overrated. It's a good book, but it didn't change my life, you know. So I'm going to recommend books that I think are amazing books or just really good books that people don't pay attention to. Okay, so these are the books. Okay. Let us begin. First book we're going to see today is called Two Crimes by Jorge Bargongoitia. I have no idea how to pronounce his name in English, so I'm just going to say it as I know it in Spanish. Jorge Bargongoitia. You can just see how it's spelled there. Bargongoitia. Okay. It's an amazing book. It's kind of confusing at the beginning because one doesn't understand if the writing is tedious or if the narration is just kind of slow. I think it is really well written considering the personality and psychology of the character. It's basically like the plot doesn't start out this way, but it unravels into a gigantic family feud for the inheritance. Of course, all the family feuds, most of them are about inheritance. Okay, so this man that hasn't been part of this family, just kind of steps in and becomes the main reason for the feuds, and then it kind of stops being feuds and drama and turns into like uh, who killed him kind of thing, and like a mystery detective thing. It's really good. It's I love how they discover the murderer and they each character has such a well-defined personality in this book. Like this one is really violent. This one is all peaceful and knows a lot about herbal medicine, and this one is just a very promiscuous woman, and she will do anything to get part of that inheritance. So I give this book a 4 stars. It loses a star because I am kind of used to very different kinds of books. I'm reading this Family Feud novel for me was really easy. It's a really easy read, no matter what level you're on. Nevertheless, it's really good and it's really underrated in my opinion. Okay, that was the one of the ones that was assigned to me at school. The other one that was assigned to me at school is called The Fallings and Loves by Javier Marias. It's also in Spanish, so there's no use in me. Okay, just read it. Okay. I think it's really beautiful because it's one of those books that kind of grabs you by the heart and rips it the fuck out. It tells a story of a couple, an elderly couple. Well, that's how it starts, but it's kind of narrated by a young girl. Her name is Maria, I think. Yeah, her name is Maria. And she kind of narrates how there's this couple. His name is Miguel Desvern and his wife Luisa, right? So Miguel gets murdered, and then they figure out why, and the wife Luisa is torn, and this girl Maria is there like to comfort her, if I remember correctly. Yes. It's a really good book. I think it's really well narrated, although sometimes extremely tedious. I'm not going to lie. It can be very slow. Um, but I think it's worth the read because Javier Marias is a really good narrator, and not as in keeping it exciting because he's really bad at that apparently, but it's profound and it's captivating. That's what I think about this book. It's really good. I give it a 3 stars. No, no, I'm being too harsh. It is a 4. It's a 4 stars. It would be 5 stars if the narrating was a little more captivating, but the story is the one that's captivating. The narrating is a little slow, as I said before. So, if you have low tolerance, I don't recommend it, but I recommend it anyways. Yes. My third recommendation, I'm just going to get over the ones that are in Spanish because I don't want to be translating the entire video. This one is called, I have no idea if it's called the same way. I'm just going to brutally translate the title, but you can look up the author, okay? The title in Spanish is called The Book of the Ridiculous Loves, and it's by Milan Kundera. This book was given to me as a birthday present by one of my best friends. I'm going to tell you what this book is about, but not to detail because I still want you guys to read it. It's basically several different encounters with several different characters. Like, the book is separated into parts, and it's based in the Czech Republic. So there's going to be some weird names that I did not expect, and they caught me off guard, and I was really confused, and then I realized that they were names and not words. And I was just looking up the definition. I was dumb. Okay. I recommend this book very highly because Milan Kundera has a really creative way of narrating. It's like an omnipresent narrator, but at the same time, this omnipresent narrator kind of understands each character and it explains them, like Dr. Havel. For example, I'm going to tell you a little part of the beginning of the book. Dr. Havel is like a renowned doctor, right? And he's basically being pressured by this man that I forget his name, but this man sent him, like, take this, I'm the little man that is pressuring Dr. Havel, and I wrote this book. I give it to Dr. Havel so he publishes it, because Dr. Havel publishes a lot of really good things, right? Medical things. But Dr. Havel takes one look at it, and he's like, this is horrible. It's horrible. It's shit. And he will not and cannot publish it, because that would ruin his reputation of always publishing really good things, right? But he doesn't have the heart to tell this guy, what's his name? Mr. Zaruteki. He doesn't have the heart to tell Mr. Zaruteki that what he writes, what he's dedicated his life to writing, is bad. So he takes the easy way out and simply avoids Mr. Zaruteki. He's going to the extremes to not have to tell Zaruteki this. There's a lot of trouble. Mr. Havel is having relationship problems because of all these lies. And yes, so I think it's really well written. It is one of my favorite books, actually, and I give it a 5 star. Okay. Yeah. So for the next book, we have one of my personal favorites. Finally, a book in English. It is called The Misfits by James Howe. The Misfits. I'm not sure if this is an underrated book. I am the only person I know who has this book and who has read it, because I mentioned it to a lot of people. It is a very good influence as a book for young readers, because it talks about some issues that in today's society are not yet accepted and need to be accepted. First of all, I think it's a very relatable book because it talks about, well, it bases itself on a group of friends. And what kind of young reader doesn't have, well, No, let me rephrase that, because I could be wrong. The majority of young readers has at least one, two, or maybe a little group of friends that they associate themselves with, especially. So this book, it's actually a really easy read because it's it's like a mixture of normal narration like that, and then it has parts that are like dialogue, okay, like that. See, but it's really written so that it's an easy read. And for example, there is a kid here, a part of the little social group that protagonizes the book, and he's trans. And when he comes out of the trans closet, his friends are just like, "Oh, cool, you're still you. So, what's the big deal?" I think that is an enormous lesson that everybody should apply. Because I've had trans friends that when they come out of the trans closet, their family mistreats them. The their friends stop talking. Their friends stop talking to them. Their life completely loses balance because they are who they are and they accepted that. And I think that this book teaches an enormous lesson, apart from the fact that it's witty and it's really entertaining and it's a simple read. I like it. I give it I have 5 stars. Yes, out of 5 because of the important lessons and how relatable this book is. I think it's really enjoyable. And this last one, I think I saved the best for last because if a book can make you cry, it is a good book. There is no doubt in my mind about that. So, this book actually is a true story. It is called Making Toast by Roger Rosenblatt. I have ugly hands. Okay, here's Roger Rosenblatt right there. You can't see. Okay. He is a grandfather of, let's see, 6-year-old Jessica, 4-year-old Sammy, and 1-year-old James. They are obviously older now because this book was published a couple years ago. So it's basically about how this man, he raises his daughter, and she's a successful doctor, and she's a mom, and she's a wife, and she's leading her life. And all of a sudden, one day, she has an asymptomatic heart condition, and she drops dead, leaving her children with her husband and their own damn luck. So the children and the husband move in with Roger Rosenblatt. And it's the heartwarming story about how, after finishing his duty as a parent with his daughter, Amy, his daughter's name is Amy, he has to go back into the world of diaper changing and preparing specific breakfasts because one kid likes it cut in triangles and the other kid likes the sandwich whole and the other kid doesn't like peanut butter on both breads, and it's beautiful. I think it's amazingly written, and it's even more touching because you know the man who's writing it lived through this. He's not making it up. It's from his own experience, and this is a 5-star, and this is hugely recommended by me. I think it's not as much as a learning literary reference, but you definitely feel what he felt, and it takes you on a trip down memory lane of memories you don't have, but this man has, and he transmits them beautifully. So, those are the July of 2015, yes, this is July of 2015 underrated book recommendations, and I will be making a list of all the books I recommend so I don't repeat. You can send me put in the comment section videos you want me to do, or books that you think I am missing out on, because, yeah, okay, I'm not that good with words. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. Hit the like button and subscribe, and I will love you forever. Okay, thank you.